work there and how he's taking us out of the predicament that the PMP got us into. So whosoever is listening,
that was devastating. I must tell you, it was a devastating part of the presentation.
Right.
The challenge though, Bridget, is that how many Jamaicans? I was looking at the numbers across the social media. There were about 5,000 persons watching on PBCJ. Cumulatively, I think maybe 50,000 Jamaicans heard this. What is going to spread are the clips, the little viral moments. And one of them will obviously be the $1,000 addition to the minimum wage. How you think that is going to play in the Jamaican psyche?
Well, you know, we can compare it to what usually go on and what is putting on now. Because if you used to get 15,000 and you get an additional 1,000, that 1,000 can go to your bus fare, so you still have the $15,000. So,
yes.
I mean, it's something. You understand me? You, as my girlfriend was saying, you can use that additional $1,000 and pay a partner because you did not have that 15, that extra $1,000 all along. So you
yes, and then Bridget, the minimum wage does not stand singularly on its own. It is within a package of additional things that the government is doing to better the lives of Jamaicans.
Right.
And importantly, you know, Bridget, without taking up too much of your time, it is that the government is investing heavily in education and training.
Exactly.
And if you are going to pull yourself out of poverty, you really need to make use of those opportunities to uplift yourself.
Exactly, because
I think we have to move away from this thinking that the minimum wage is where I am at and that's where I'll be staying. And so you depend on the government every year to put a little something on the minimum wage.
Exactly. Because
we have to develop the thinking of our people, the thinking that they can create wealth for themselves.
Exactly. And I was just going to say, if you go to Heart and be certified and trained as one of those plumbers, one of those electricians, you are not going to earn minimum wage. And he has laid the groundwork for you to be trained that you don't have to look at that 16,000 a week. You're probably earning 16,000 a day.
Tell me the truth, Bridget, as a labor, right? You are really excited about this budget. Are you excited?
I am more than excited. Because the Prime Minister laid the ground for right across Jamaica. There's also, remember, 50,000 people can now apply for the $20,000 one-off grant.
Yes, I'm going to have to apply for that.
Right? 50,000. Yeah, you can apply. It's there. You understand me?
And the housing.
Hold on. Neighbor, you're not qualified for it.
But why?
It's not so though. It's for the solidarity program is for the most vulnerable in society. For persons who did not benefit. Who did you benefit from the tax threshold?
No, I didn't. No.
Not the tax threshold. The income, the one payment, the one-time payment.
Think about
no, I did not. I did not. No.
Never.
You did not?
I did not.
Well, the social worker will do an assessment, and they will see. They will do a needs assessment, right? So if you're not in need, you won't get it. You won't qualify.
Oh Lord, I am so much in need.
For the rose, I want a real rose.
Anyway, so Bridget.
Yeah.
You still have a little bit more time. So Bridget, you are excited. You believe that the election, that labor rights have enough here to go to the public with. You believe that our bloggers and vloggers will be excited tomorrow, and that the arguments from the PNP has been sufficiently countered. You believe that?
Of course.
Yes.
Another thing I want to tell the 164 persons on here. You see, Mark Golden is something else. Mark Golden is a leader of the opposition. He's the highest paid politician in Jamaica. Mark Golden, he doesn't respect protocol. right? Mark Golding went on a TikToker show last night. He didn't go to the Gleaner.
I think it's YouTube.
Or YouTube. He didn't go to the Gleaner, and he didn't go to none of the recognized.
He was on Power 106 in the morning, though, you know.
He was on Power 106?
Yes, with Ralston Hyman.
Oh, yes, he will go there because, well, all right. But what I'm telling you, he showed Stevenson's is certification of renouncement. Go.
Renunciation,
Renunciation, yeah, thank you. But he showed it on that program. But I think there's something still wrong with it, and that's why he didn't show it to real people who would question him about it. Neighbor.
Bridget, I agree.
Yeah, there's something wrong with it. Why he went there last night? And you know what he said? That is very upsetting to me. He said, "No, that when I'm going to England,
that's a propaganda show. That's a propaganda show.
I will need a visa." Neighbor, he's leader of the opposition. He has a diplomatic visa. He does
exactly a diplomatic passport.
A diplomatic passport.
Yes. And remember, he had originally said this, that he had to get a visa even when he had the British passport.
What this man
He's a liar.
Philippian. This man take us for what this man take us for? A bunch of idiots. Because that is why he went on that show last night.
Yes. Yeah, well, I think as the election campaign intensifies, the questions are going to be asked. The fact of the matter is that Mr. Golding will have to stand up and debate. He's going to have to answer some questions. But Bridget, hold on a little bit for me. Foresight.
Yeah, good night. What's up?
Foresight.
Yeah. Good night.
Did the Prime Minister clear the expectation bar for labor rights and for Jamaicans? Do you think he cleared the bar?
Yeah, it was quite impressive. I got what I was looking for. I like the fact that I was particularly looking for him to offer some solutions as it relates to home ownership, and I got that. I like the $9 million loan limit. You know, I like the increase in that to 9 million from 7 million, and I like the fact that that other benefit. Oh, wasn't train of thought.
Philippians can help you. 50,000 persons are to get a $20,000 grant. The minimum wage is going to be increased by $4,000 per month.
No, I like the fact that he capped
by $1,000
going forward. No NHE house can sell 14 million. It will be in that price range.
No, about $1,000 the increase, about 1,000.
Yeah.
No, 4,000
was not an increase. But before I go on minimum wage though, I just want to finish with the
$1,000 increase on the already existing.
What did neighbor just say?
The minimum wage is to go up by $1,000 per week. That's 4,000 per month.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Okay. Yes.
You neighbor.
Right. So it's from 60 to 64.
I remember now, neighbor, what I want to say, the $14 million cap on the house prices, right, for NHG projects. I think that's a good idea as well. That's a good benefit.
Yes, but the majority of people that we vote are these people who are in the low income bracket. They're the ones that are on the buses. They're the ones that fills up the arena. Do you think that we have moved them?
Yeah, because he says that remember, you have a category that you say if you earn less than $30,000 a week, right? Then the interest will be zero, and you will be eligible for a $3.5 million grant, right? Towards owning your own home. So I think these are real benefits. These are tangible benefits that people can look forward to. And
all right. So what I see trending on the other side right now is the whole idea of the, not as substantial increase in the minimum wage. Do you think the Prime Minister should have gone further?
I think he would have gone. Remember yesterday I was saying 16,500 low end and 18,000 high. But he went 16,500 5 bills short of my lowest expectation, really. But
So
I
tell
mean,
me the honest truth, Foresight, as a laborite. You feel that the framework, the foundation for a successful election campaign has been laid. The politics of it, Foresight, because irrespective of what you want to speak about, the Prime Minister
not
has
with the minimum wage so much. I don't think the minimum wage, the reason the minimum wage was like, I don't think this increase was that significant for it to create any great excitement. I was expecting, as I say, at least a $1,500 increase,
Yes.
and the high end at $18,000.
But
I know
guys,
it would be a challenge for him to go 80.
Foresight, let us not forget, we have to think about the employers,
No, we know that. We're not talking about from the logical perspective. We are talking about the optics of it, and
the political part of it.
Yeah, the part. Yeah, right. Is it enough to create any great excitement, among the grassroots or the low income earners?
We know how to sell it.
But we can't just look at the minimum wage alone. It's still an increase, and you have to look at it, in addition to the other benefits.
That's what I'm gonna say. You don't pay. You're paid $50 on the bus now, and more buses gonna come. Your children is gonna get bus rides. I don't know if they're gonna pay less or whatever. You understand me? So
I think it can be marketed, neighbor. It's a comprehensive package.
It can
it's
be
not
marketed.
One item. It's a comprehensive package, a combination of different benefits.
Please understand, Foresight, that I am asking the questions that I know will be asked. I know how to market it, and I know what the answers are.
Mm-hmm.
I am just putting it for
I know.
to understand.
Yeah.
What I want to get from you, though, is in terms of expectations. The expectations of the Prime Minister going into this budget presentation was sky high. I mean, there was an expectation of him that I haven't seen in a long time. Do you think that the Prime Minister delivered for Jamaica, delivered for labor rights tonight? Do you think he did?
Well, the truth is, neighbor. The truth is, this government has been I've been delivering a lot of benefits to the people for quite some time. And even when you look at the income tax threshold, moving from 592,800 to 1.5 million, how much higher can it go? So if we were to look at the track record, and especially remember he's doing this, without imposing any new tax. So at the same time, even though we want him to be very impressive and we want the benefits to look very impressive, we have to bear in mind that, you have to have this fiscal space for that. And if it's a government that is not imposing any new tax on the people, then, it's still doing well.
I got the impression listening to the Prime Minister that this was another debate that he is confident that he's going to win. And so he really is making another budget presentation. I don't get the impression that he had in his mind any election. I think he is confident that his performance, over the last 9 years.
He's more relying on his track record.
Yes.
Than promises, But I think there is enough in this budget for us to campaign on, though.
Yes.
All right. What stood out in Mark Golding's budget presentation that you say would be able to, it was more impressive than what the Prime Minister presented today? Because the only thing that Mark Golding was I think that came out in Mark Golding that anyone was even talking about was the home ownership. The benefits relating to home ownership. And I think the Prime Minister offerings today can counter that. It's enough to counter that because people want more money. And moving the loan limit from 7 million to 9 million is big enough. And saying to people that if you're an individual applying for a loan, you can get up to $12 million, that's big too.
Yes.
If the house costs 40 million and you can get a loan of $12 million, that's big.
Stay with me. Spice Girl?
Oh, okay.
Good night, neighbors.
Spice
Good
Girl.
night. Yes.
Spice Girl, good night. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, neighbor?
And which part of Jamaica are you?
I'm in St. James.
St. James. That's central.
Yes.
All right,
St.
great.
James Central.
Yes.
We got to hear right, Clark Franks, girl.
Yeah, no problem.
Spice Girl, how are you feeling tonight? Having listened to your Prime Minister, how are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling excited because you know what I do. What I do admire about his budget presentation is that he's the man really for the job, because he does not came with only words. He came with figures and presentation. And I think the budget that was presented to us this evening is enough for Jamaican to make up their mind to say that, okay, because the budget that was presented to us this evening does not base on promises. It is based on a track record that is currently going on and should be extended along with new ones to come.
Fantastic. So you feel that the people of Jamaica, the majority of Jamaicans, will look at the Prime Minister's presentation tonight and say, this is a continuation of the good work that the party has done. This is not an election budget. This is not a promise budget. These are real things that are happening, and they are going to repose confidence in him and not say time come.
Absolutely, because one thing I can guarantee, that he's not a government of promise, he's a government of commitment, because in his manifestos for previous manifestos, including the 2016 and 2020, he had delivered most of his commitments. And I would say that for me and some of the people that I spoke to on a daily basis, yes, they especially at work and in the street, they have given him a lot of commendation to say that he is really working. Because I'm coming from in the town just now, and I spoke to two persons this evening in the street, because we have to be smart. As soon as we get a chance to spread the good news and to talk to people, hear their point of view, and to sell the government in a positive way, then we should do so. Because I saw a lady this evening, and we were in a restaurant, and she said that she's a seller. She had not worked for anybody from she born. She said she's a seller. Yes, she said she do her own business.
Oh, she's a
vendor. She's a vendor. She's a vendor. Right. Let me rephrase that statement. She's a vendor, and she said that she do vending and she build her house. She had a daughter that worked in one of the hotel, and we were discussing the salary and all of that. And we were talking about minimum wage. And what I said to her is that there is no staff that I knew that is on a contract work or on staff working in the hotel industries and are going home with minimum wage. So even though the government say minimum wage, it does not stop there. Yes, you get the minimum wage and you have other benefits that bring up your pay to something that is reasonable. But what I do notice with the society, with majority of the society, is that they do not discipline themselves to spend whatsoever they earn. They want to live above their means. And if they even get 200,000 per week, they're still gonna complain.
I just remember something. The PM said earnings from tourism will be now used to build social houses. That's exciting news. It means that, you know,
neighbor,
finally.
friends, can I say something? So the Chief Justice of Jamaica has granted the PMP leave to stall the implementation of the parish. So the Chief Justice has put a dent on that, so they're going back to court. Probably they said next week.
Bridget, we never need that right now. We are talking about the budget. Make them go on.
No, I'm just telling you, it's a part of the Prime Minister's, because he spoke about the 15 parish. So I'm telling you, that's a breaking news.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna give Spice Girl a little bit more time.
You see, that's why we have to keep away from the CCJ.
Yes.
Anyway,
We're gonna
continue
give
with the
Spice
budget.
Girl a little bit more time. Spice Girl.
Yes. In terms of
hold on. I find you to be quite intriguing, you know. Spice Girl. Tell me something. You as a laborer tonight, you are making a very, very important point. Because what you have done is that you have put the budget within a national perspective. This is a run with it budget. You think that the Prime Minister is continuing the good work. And what he has done tonight is presented Jamaica with a history, with a present, and with an aspiration of what we can become going forward.
Absolutely.
So it's not 16,000 Jamaicans. People who are working minimum wage, you're not going to be getting $16,000 next year. You're not going to be at $16,000. Okay? What the Prime Minister is saying is, listen, we are moving step by step. By step. Remember that in 2016, the minimum wage was
6,200.
Yes,
and it usually frees under the PNP, and people must remember that.
Yes.
That we have to be grateful, because when PNP in power, all they do is to put tax on the back of the Jamaican people, the people that they call poor people. Those are the people who they infringe on with taxes, and on top of that, they freeze minimum wage. So we are coming a far way.
Yes. Great. Queenie, official Queenie. Official Queenie has her mic muted. And
what I find impressive about the PM, that all that was presented this evening, the continuation of the work that is going on currently now, they are factual and no lies.
Yes.
Because I'm in St. James, so you know that I can attest to some of those things that are coming on board in terms of the children and adolescents hospital that will be reopening in a couple of months, and the Montego Bay bypass with the perimeter road work. Yes, that is up to about maybe 90% or so to be completed, which is correct. You know, a lot of things is going on, but for persons who are saying that there is nothing going on in the country, it seems like they close the good eye and looking out of the bad one.
Thank you so much.
Because
hold on a little. Horatio?
Good night, hello neighbors. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Horatio. Where are you logging on from, sir?
Kingston.
You're in Kingston?
Mm-hmm.
You're in Kingston, sir?
Yes.
Central Kingston?
No, West Kingston.
Oh, you're in West Kingston. Horatio, you feel that labor rights are going to be excited going forward? You think that this presentation is going to ignite the ground, the base of the party and the society generally? Do you get that feeling?
St. James.
What I get from the presentation, hello neighbors, I think it is enough ammunition to campaign on one. It is enough. It is enough information for people who like us on social media to sell the party or to in other words to market the party.
Yes.
So I think in my mind, I think the presentation is more than what we expected.
What did you get from the presentation? Highlight to me one or two things that you would want to say. This is what I like.
All right. So the three takeaways I take from the presentation, more than three, but I can say three takeaways from the presentation.
Yes.
First, the way the Prime Minister start to present the presentation in terms of remind the people of Jamaica where we are coming from and where
the historical politics.
Right. Because
yes.
if you remember, the Prime Minister said about 5 to 6 months ago that it's gonna be it's gonna be battle for the mind. So you have to remind the people of Jamaica what the PMP has done. I think that's what he do. He compare what the PMP have done and what his administration have done. That is one of my takeaway. The next takeaway I have is the $20,000 grant. That even if you are not qualified, people in anywhere in Jamaica, I don't know if Philippian can remind me exactly about what he said about the person. Even if you are not registered, your MPR, the people on the ground must find you, because it won't just be a $20,000 grant. It would be far more than that. People who don't have a H paper, people who don't have an ID, people who don't enroll in any program, any at all. So I think that's a good takeaway. The next takeaway I would have run with is the motor vehicle registration.
Yes.
That's a good one. That's a very good one.
You mean extending it to 2 years?
Right,
Yes,
right.
That's
a good one for me. That's a good one.
Can I ask you a question, sir? If I am uncommitted and you have to talk to me, how would you convince me as an uncommitted Jamaican to vote for the Labour Party?
First, I would have tried just the strategy that the Prime Minister always start his presentation today. So first, I would have tried present to you where we was 20 years ago and where we are now. Right? And then I will go forward to tell you what the Prime Minister, what this administration have done over the last 8 to 9 years. Right? Then I would have start to tell you the achievement in terms of what I've done and the achievement the government have achieved over the last 9 years.
And then I'm going to turn to you and say, but the other side said time come. How you counteract the time come argument?
But the time come for what? Is it the time come for us to go back where we're coming from, or the time come to move the country forward? So
you don't think that time come argument is a sellable argument?
I think that's one of the most. One of the most non-progressive slang that the PNP have ever played.
Well, Horatio, I know you're a Labourite, but did you hear anything coming out of Robinson or Golding that you think the government could use? Any idea coming from the opposition?
To be honest, what I've taken away from the Golding or the Robinson presentation, I think Golding make a good point about the home ownership. But I think what the Prime Minister have done today about the whole rent ownership, it can match what he have come with.
Fantastic. Desmond Mackenzie is your member of parliament.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Did the Prime Minister mention rent to own today?
Huh?
I heard you
mentioned
guys
anything
are
about
under,
rent
I
to
heard you
own?
guys are under pressure in West Kingston, man. You
No. I see a little video going around with Nesta Morgan. But it puzzled me though, you know. You know what he puzzled me? Because Mark Golding wanted to be
clear it up for us. Clear it up for us. Is that West Kingston?
Mark Golding wanted to be the Prime Minister of the country and not even know his own borders. It is so puzzling for me because where Nesta is, that's really the opposition constituency. So let me clarify for you. So you're coming down from Slipo, right? You're coming up. You're coming up Slipo, I should say. So you're coming from Public, right? Kingston Public Hospital. So on your left to the Boardville side is West Kingston. Where Nesta Morgan was, he was on the skip where to go over the bridge. So that is where the opposition constituency start from. Tarrington Park, Tarrington Avenue, Tarrington Park, go back up.
I'm part of Rima.
Right. So
Rima.
where a part of Rima is where when you coming down Cali Smith Drive from the stadium, where is constituency.
Who is right?
Huh?
Who is right? Nesta?
No, Nesta is right. Nesta is so right.
Nesta can't win Western Kingston. Western Kingston is predominantly Jamaica Labour Party. No,
that's not the conversation, man. The conversation is that he did a video today, right? Talking about some roads.
So
it was in bring Dominant up to date, no? So him can know.
So Dominant
he did a video today saying that, right? Stating that he was looking at some roads and was saying that it is Mark Golding's part of Mark Golding's constituency, right?
Yeah.
Mark Golding responded by saying that's not in his constituency, it is in West Kingston.
Lie,
right?
Mark Golding not tell.
Scratchy, I see Scratchy.
Based on what Oration Nelson said to a while ago.
Scratchy.
Because Fletcher's land and West Kingston to Nassau.
Right. So Fletcher's land, hold on, let me clear it up. Because Scratchy saying something. Where Fletcher's land fall. So when you're coming up Cali Smith Drive, when you're coming up Cali Smith, him saying Nesta wrong. When you're coming up Cali Smith Drive from Kingston Public Hospital, where Fletcher's land lies, Fletcher's land lies on the right side coming up. But
Yes.
the left side, West Kingston stop where the Board Villa is. So if you know the Board
I know
Villa.
a board
Why
villa.
Nesta go on the border because this kind
West
of
is
debate? Then put a final road.
That's the reason why I think that's the reason why when Mark Golding says he wrote to the member of parliament, I think that's the reason why this man never respond to him, because that is all right then. Previous
Orisha.
yeah.
Constituency stop all the way up to Tarrington Bridge, Orisha. Orange Villa, go all the way up to Tarrington Bridge, come round to
That
Board
is
Villa.
not Orange Villa Road.
No, man, that's not
Yes,
Orange
but
Villa
listen,
Road.
listen, Orisha. Spears Road is in the constituency. Gardner Road
But
is in the constituency.
them Pierce is not part of Craigtown.
No, Pierce Road is not part of Craigtown. Pierce Road is West Kingston. Gardner Road is
This
West
road is
Kingston.
where? Where
Pierce Road
is
is in
road?
West Kingston.
Where's
Gardner
this?
Road,
Where's
Pierce
Pierce
Road is on
Road?
Sliping Road.
All right.
Board Villa,
Scratchy.
Board Villa where the garbage was at, that is also West Kingston.
No,
No,
Scratchy.
Scratchy.
No.
No, Scratchy.
Bro,
Scratchy.
I'm telling
We
you,
have
bro.
family who come
Scratchy.
from West
And
Kingston.
I'm
And we have family who come from top jungle near Board Villa.
Listen what I say, bro. Listen what I say, bro. Just listen what I say, bro. Fletcher's land wasn't originally West Kingston, Fletcher's land was Central Kingston.
Right.
Siaga who put
Right.
Fletcher's land in
That
West
is
Kingston,
so. That
So
is-
don't
Yes.
look at where Central, where Fletcher's land is located.
No, I'm not
Look
talking
at
about
Slipe
Fletcher's
Road.
land, none at all,
Wait.
Scratchy.
Look at where Slipo is from Central
Scratchy,
Branch
listen
Primary.
what
That is
people
also
what
West
I'm saying,
Kingston.
bro. Listen now. When you're leaving Kingston Public Hospital coming up Cali Smith Drive, and you're
You
left
can't
hand,
leave Kingston Public Hospital to go up Cali Smith Drive, bro.
where what is that road?
That is
When you
Sliping
pass-
Road, bro. When you
Sliping
come up.
Road.
When you
Sliping
pass
Road.
Blood Blanc, right? Sliping Road.
Sliping Road.
Sliping Road,
Road,
I should
yeah.
say. My bad, Sliping Road. when you pass blood bank and you leave blood bank, the board villa right there, is right there West Kingston stop?
West Kingston stop at Torrington Bridge, bro.
No, West Kingston stop, right, West Kingston between Torrington Bridge is between West Kingston and between Mark. That is what clear the border, Scotchy.
Bro, listen, bro. See, when time me and my councillor do canvassing, dominant one. When me and my councillor do canvassing, we go all the way up there so to Ushpa. When Nesta was showing the garbage, that is where Lisa food shop is.
All right, Scratchy.
Is Western Kingston.
All right, Scratchy.
No, listen, me tell you something again, dominant.
Board Villa part of Board Villa top jungle.
No, Board Villa is not top jungle.
No.
Is it near top jungle?
No, not near top jungle
no.
either. They're far from top jungle, it's more than near Torrington Bridge site.
All right. You see, we can Elgin Road. Elgin Road, set one name.
Elgin Road, they don't know near this, bro.
You know, so they have the place, so the electrical place, man. I have some part space to come around. You know, they're far from this.
That's wait name I attack. Ivy Road side attack.
Ivy Road. Ivy Road, a part near Top Junk and then near Board Villa, see me in the
yes,
far.
but that is way below Ivy Road. That is way below Ivy Road where we were showing. This is what I say. It's when time where the canvas in. All right. Same time where I give Christmas work, my MP, Desmond Mackenzie, and me go up to go give them people Christmas work. And me get Orangeville people and Christmas work.
All right, Scratchy.
It is Western Kingston.
Scratchy.
You know what I know about Orangeville though? You see, my father told me about Orangeville. Orangeville was labor right, you know. Born them out of the labor right out of Orangeville.
Yeah, but Orangeville is Western.
You know what the bigger point though.
Western Kingston stop right at the bridge. So the bridge is what separate Western Kingston and Mark.
And Board Villa is below the bridge if you're going to say that then. So
yeah, man, Board Villa is below the bridge.
Board Villa is below the bridge, bro.
Yes, but
guys,
hold on.
Yeah. Can we get back?
Once it's debatable still, it means that video now going to fulfill its true thing there, right? The intended purpose of that video, we lose it. So, yeah, as one neighbor say, better we just get back to where we're at.
Scratchy.
Yes, neighbor.
Can you just keep the show going for me?
Yes.
I'm going to be on a little break. We're trying to review the main point of the Prime Minister's presentation. So just pick it up and continue for me, please.
I mean, hold on, I'm going to come out to the box.
No, man, you're there here.
Oh, yes. So what I'm saying now, neighbor, it's a wonderful presentation, I must say. One that is not the regular. A totally different type of presentation. Definitely not a run with it budget. The Prime Minister is definitely practicing physical prudence. So like the part where the Prime Minister went from back and come forward and show us where we're coming from to where we are now. I mean, many Jamaicans will look at this budget and say, our PNP, supporters of PNP might say they don't see anything in the budget or it's not. But what one person to understand, neighbor, is most of the time when the People's National Party came with a budget in an election year that offers a whole lot of goodies, it was because of their lack of performance. Now, what this Prime Minister is basically telling us is that he has done enough to run on his track record. He doesn't need to come and trick us with a budget full of goodies. He needs to also make sure that we are physically prudent. And the next thing that we also have to understand, neighbor, is Hurricane Beryl and Tropical Storm Raphael took away $58 billion from the economy. Now, that $58 billion from the economy has hindered the government in a lot of ways. $58 billion is a lot if you should really be honest. The 16, I did told you, neighbor, that there would be an increase in the minimum wage. A lot of persons might say 1,000, or what kind of increase is that? But if I don't look at the 1,000, I look at where we're coming from over this 9-year period from 2016 to present, from 6,200 to 16,000. So we're basically seeing a 10,000 increase over the 9-year period. And I think the Prime Minister is not gonna be act stupid or act foolish and run with it. He's definitely gonna stay in his bone and he's gonna run on his track record. And I think Jamaicans should appreciate a Prime Minister who can come with us in an election year and give us a budget like this that is physically prudent, one that will definitely keep us balanced and keep us firm. I have no issue with the budget, to be honest, but I think it's up to us now as Labour rights to go out and sell this budget. Make sure when we hear persons talk, we try to debunk their myth and state the facts. Definitely.
Exactly.
Continue the discussion with the guys.
May I add something to that, Scotty?
I think dominant.
What I like about the because if I drove out, I didn't hear that, but my brother told me some part of the budget which I like.
is about the fitness, moving from 1 year to 2 year, right? That is a great thing as well. And
No, that's a registration, dominant.
Registration for 2 years. That is very
The
great.
fitness is 5. The fitness is 5 years if it's a new vehicle, and I think used vehicle is what?
3 years, I believe.
3 years, right? For
So I'm
used
saying
vehicles.
that is good. That is very,
Used
very
vehicle under 10 years, under 5 years, I should say.
That's
very
very
good.
dominant. That's a big
Big
deal.
Big deal, because you see in a country like China, I want to register your vehicle, you know. China, I want to register your vehicle, you know, register it again, you know. And I hear the registration you're doing. I'm just give an example. So you see this government is really thinking on that line. You understand me? And where him gonna make up back on those is the fact say him put 20%, him give 20% concession on some lorry vehicles to bring goods. So you know, so farmers are want to go for those, but you still have to pay some duties and so. So you see, now you have to say more lorries are going to farm and carry out goods.
Minivan like trucks, mini trucks like.
Yes. So you see that also gonna help farmers as well. And the fact same I build up more facilities with cold storage and all that, but him say I think they will come out and talk about that because if no want to take over about the sectoral debate when the sectoral debate come up, if they really want to take over. And I can tell you see the housing thing when him do too. And other people must look at this and say 3 persons, when I put 3 persons, people can know this. A family of 3 can take out a house, right? I'm probably put it on Airbnb and go and earn. I just give some example.
Exactly.
You have to take it out. Yes. Yeah. And it's as an investment property. And go and earn. Depends on if you have additional money, you can even get something even bigger than that, just the same. So that is a win-win-win-win in many situations.
Quite frankly, still dominant. Me think is and scratch. Me think is there's a lot of good.
Somebody asking you to add them. God over everything. Sorry about that for a second.
Yeah, man. I think there is a lot of goodies in the budget, but having gotten used to these benefits over time, it not really jump out to me as much as when they were first announced. Like, would have gotten increase in threshold, income tax threshold from Favor's presentation. So, I mean, would have gotten salary increase. Unprecedented increases in salary would have gotten the minimum wage would have seen minimum wage become a more the increase in minimum wage will become a more regular occurrence, right? So when he announces these now, it's like we're used to it already. I really that happen.
And then a good initiative is the bus for the school the school program.
Yeah, but remember last year it was our 100 buses,
Yes. In November they spoke about
exactly.
it.
And we already get used to know new tax and can't announce that again.
Yeah.
So I think because we get used to so many benefits from this government, right? There's hardly much more that we can really expect him to come over and go, whoa, we. When he first announced many of these things, then it was more, like it would like create more excitement among us. But now, people are getting used to that this government delivering,
And listen, and first I'm gonna add something else that is it because I'm from Portmore in St. Catharines, but Portmore is not a parish, but because they call it Caymanas area, right, the same gonna develop, trust me.
Special economic zones.
Yeah, when that done, the amount of people that can get work is gonna be unbelievable because it's a big space. I mean, it's a massive space, really massive space.
Foresight, my take from the budget, you see, as what Dominant was saying, the Cayman as economic zone is a brainchild of Bruce Golding from 2007 2008.
I say, and I really Bruce Golding is I want I'm thinking Mike Henry really, but Bruce Golding.
Mike Henry brainchild was the
Burnham Field.
Green State, the railway.
And the Burnham Field and that as well. Both things, I'm telling you.
Anyhow,
Yeah, dominant, make Winston talk though.
Yeah, him finish still.
Yeah, make him finish.
anyhow, the point I wanted to make is that I'm happy to know that finally we will see groundbreak shortly for that project to get off on, because I know what economic zone, special economic zone, can do for the economy. I saw where China have invested heavily in Egypt in a special economic zone, and how that has propelled the Egyptian economy and create meaningful jobs for the Egyptian people. Anyhow, the other point I wanted to make is that my big takeaway from the budget is when the Prime Minister focused on productivity and efficiency. And if anyone here on this live tonight who understand anything about economic development, which is the same thing what we call economic growth. You cannot have economic growth and development without have productivity.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Productivity that drives the economy to expand, right? And this is what is lacking. When you look and see the amount of real estate that is going on in Jamaica, infrastructure work, and yet still the economy is not growing at a rapid pace. It comes from lack of productivity. One of the things that we need to turn away from, yes, we are a high crime society, but we need to find ways where our country stop operate from 9 till 5. We cannot compete in a today global world where you only produce for 7 or 8 hours. It's not going to work, brother.
You gonna have to have a flexi, but Winston, you're gonna have to have a flexi work week for that.
Not just a flexi work week, Foresight, even with our patching of road or road construction or whatever, we need to find a way where work can go on to up to 12, 1 o'clock at night.
But that's happening, Winston. A lot of the roads in my patch at night.
Right? We need to do this. We need to increase our productivity in this country so the economy can start generate some steam to grow.
But productivity, improvement in productivity don't necessarily mean longer working hours, you know, Winston.
No,
right?
Not necessarily. It's a part of it, but they do a holistic behind that.
It's how much you get out of the hour.
I mean,
you can improve the processes to ensure so the output,
the PM talk about productivity, and what we have to understand that one of the biggest hindrances to productivity in Jamaica is the red tape in the sector.
Definitely, that's what I'm talking about, Scratchy. And we talk about the efficiency. I love that part of the budget.
Yeah, that is our biggest hindrance to productivity, and he's trying his best to clear it up. Hence the reason why he also moved the fitness from a 1 year period to a 3 year.
Let me tell you something, man. Brilliant, man. If you have a brand new motor car, where the bloody hell you need to get a fitness for that motor car every year?
Yeah, foolishness.
So this is thinking outside of the box, and these are, I know it maybe be a small step, but it's a small step.
No, it's a big step because you don't have no unnecessary overcrowding at the tax office.
Definitely so. The other thing that we need to find a way to is to expand the time that the tax office open. Maybe we need to have Saturday or Sundays to it.
No, they have added Saturday. They said that they will be the finance minister said that in every parish a tax office will be open on Saturdays in every parish. One will be open on Saturdays in every parish.
We need to do that. We need to get that. We need to get the bank and doing the same thing as well.
Culture have a lot to do with it, because we need to have a greater appreciation of the use of technology to get some of these things done. Because the technology is available, but sometimes you have people who just still want to join the line, right? Because
but for a time, one of the things that we must understand too is not everybody grasps the technology.
And what we have to understand the foresight that we have a large part of the population that is of a certain age who believe in the traditional way of doing business.
I know.
And we can't, despite that, we can't fight or force them. Because if
it's a cultural thing still, more than just even an age thing, because you have people same way who is of that age group who still use the technology. You have old people like,
foresight.
60s where still use the phone to get certain things done. But I guess to most times those people is not that them can't do it. And a lot of them can read and write. But as you said, them just stuck in them old way of doing things. They don't even want to open up themselves to learning.
So the little pensioner, the little pensioner who want to bank a little something, feel much safer, say, and the teller $100 and $1,000 bill more than carry it or put it in the machine, some deposit.
Yeah, man, I know.
And that's a natural fact. And we cannot cut these people out of the system.
No, I know. I'm not suggesting to cut them out. I'm just, all right. You see, you have persons who don't open up themselves to learn. And some of them don't trust the system too. Once a machine, they don't trust that this transaction is the same as going in front of somebody who manually take them cash and put them account. It's a cultural thing. It's more, it's more rooted into cultural beliefs, our traditions.
But I just want to say, in closing, foresight, that this afternoon going into the evening, I stand tall as a proud Jamaican. To finally to know that my country have a prime minister that cares, have a prime minister that understands world issues, have a prime minister who understands economics, have a prime minister knows that without a stable economy, there's nothing he can deliver to his people. Right? I was overwhelmed by the
man. I think just like the conference, him raised the bar today again. Him really show class and show up himself as a cut above the rest.
And maturity.
Yeah, maturity. Yeah.
Yes.
And you still get the goodies and the benefits from it.
Yes.
Right? It's just that maybe how it was delivered when it reached the goodies part and so.
Honestly, though the goodies are secondary to me, because what I really want to listen for is the prudence of the government, the plan, the vision going forward, the expansion of the Kingston terminal period, and all of these things there. That we want to hear about the new investment in the Kingston terminal. That is the thing that intrigued me, because I know say when your port is doing well, when the port is operating efficiently, it generates maximum revenue for your country.
And to what you're saying, Winston and Forsyth, I think the goodies that were delivered, the goodies are goodies in a different way. It's not the regular style of goodies that a lot of person might be expecting. These were goodies that are expected to have a long-term effect and a more economic effect on the economy, and persons are more longer term than directly coming and giving a one-time fixed situation. Yes, these things that will last over the years and will have a long-lasting effect on the economy, and these things will definitely add to the economic growth and driving the economy. Again, guys, what we just sell the budget in a more layman terms where we can make persons understand that hey, what you prefer for you get a handout, or if you say him do something, the Prime Minister done something where every person who have a motor vehicle benefit in some way, shape, or form. You understand? Taxi operators will benefit from this in some way, shape, or form. Exactly. The bus operators will benefit from this in some way, shape, or form. So it's a holistic approach, I would say. It's not just one way you look out to one set of persons or one time.
I think there is something in it for everybody.
Yes, it's just and whatever it comes with, it benefits us in a holistic approach.
Everybody.
I think even the
man that they got him and Miguel, right?
Yes.
And have opportunity.
Boy,
peer program and all them something and art show stuff.
Foresight. I remember as a young man just leaving out of school, living in the country here in Portland. You have your dream, you have your aspiration, but you find yourself in a situation where you use the term nothing I want. Right? And I remember as a young man, there was a lot of young youth, and we were playing football and cricket. That's the only thing we have to do, really. And I arranged a meeting with the member of parliament. At the time, it was Errol Jigzenis. And he came, and I put some proposal to him concerning the youths and how best he could facilitate us and help us to, to become productive. And the argument that the member of parliament give to us, I leave that place that afternoon a very, very disappointed young man. Saying all of that to say this, that I wish I was in my 20s again. Because maybe if I was in my 20s with the opportunities now that is in heart, I have a level 2 certificate in building construction, and if those opportunities was around, then like now, maybe I would have a diploma or a first degree in construction. So I'm just saying that the young people of today, Jamaica, need to seize these opportunities. They need to. It's the only way, and it's the best way. Seize the opportunity.
I think that's definitely what the message that he's sending, for persons to get themselves productive, persons to get themselves trained, persons to get back themselves educated. The government is offering so much where you can access any kind of programs into heart, just through different. You see what he's done with the pension reform. So there's something from a government level. All we need to do now is just access these type of programs and policies and make ourselves a better persons. This is what the Prime Minister is definitely pushing. He's not pushing a budget, and one of the significant thing in this guys is that it is an election year, and despite it being an election year, the Prime Minister did not shake. He did not bow to the pressure that is coming from the wider society. He maintained some form of physical prudence. He said that he wasn't going to come with a run with it budget, and he maintained that. I think we now just have to have faith in our Prime Minister, respect our Prime Minister, respect someone who sees the benefit and the future for our country over just winning an election with promises and just lavishing the country's resources in a short-term way just to gain some form of political gain. He also made a statement where he said that he has now reached a level where he's no longer seeking any form of political popularity. So he's not going to do something because he wants to be politically right or seek any form of popularity from these things. So again, this Prime Minister is definitely one that we should go forward with. A Prime Minister that has his head on his body. And I think Jamaica need to accept and accept this budget and be blessed that we're a Prime Minister like this. We see the opposition leader came with his presentation, and as the opposition leader, he came with a bag of promises that were out the box. I saw someone did a breakdown of his meal for the schools and the promotions that are going to run us like something in the region of $43 billion. So again, where would we get that $43 billion from? That is a question that we have to ask ourselves.
But before you even get there, Scratchy, he first suggested that the $11.5 billion that the government is taking from all NHG for budgetary support, that he will stop that.
Yes,
so right here, he's removing $11.5 billion from the budget, and then he planned to give away all these things that gonna cost billions of dollars. So where is it gonna come from, Scratchy?
Exactly, and we must also make the viewers know, Winston, that this $11 billion drawdown was started under the previous PNP government.
I know.
It was the first who took the $11.5 billion government had no other choice at the time but to come in and continue. But now the Prime Minister put the country in a position where we can step away from that, and that is good news.
Scratchy, big up. Winston, big up. Kind of want to stay closer to the budget since we fresh off it. Still, as you can see, we lose numbers the more we defer from the budget because people come to we as information. We don't want them to first resort to the PNP and then we play catch up. Should have continued hammering the budget when the numbers were higher, but that gone bad already, so we can continue the trajectory still. Scratchy, we must also advise the people that when the government say resilience, we must pay that in big attention. Reason being, Jamaica still prone to epidemics and pandemics that comes from foreign. Also, we're just 3 months away, or just a fraction over 3 months from another active hurricane season. So yes, we have to be meticulous with the budget. We are only 3 months away, and based on recent memory, we had disruption in our weather in the very, very first phase of the hurricane season. So when the Prime Minister plans like this, it means Jamaicans, if the country were to be hit with another natural disaster or pandemic or epidemic that would, they would say no, put businesses to a halt and so forth, the resilience of our economy and our net international reserve should be able to make us sustain ourselves after a certain period of time. Hence, the Prime Minister never gave us a run with the budget because we're in an election year. It is still a crafted budget that was crafted very carefully, bearing in mind external shocks. And that was the factor I brought up this morning on Classics Live. You see, the PNP never proposed anything that would help Jamaica in the event of worst case happenings like foreign shocks and weather changes. We have evidence as to what Jamaica can go through for extensive period of drought or disruption in the weather with excess amount of rain or hurricane. So what distances are distinguished the JLP and the Prime Minister from the PNP, the futuristic plans and the visionary plans behind operating or running the country's affair. Now, if you run a country based off a plan A, you're born to set it up for fail, because it means when plan A derail, you have no plan B nor C to hold up as fortitude for the failure of plan A. So we realize the Labour Party plans this country and its development and growth on the basis of plan A, B, and C. Plan A, all will go well according to how the trajectory stay economically. We are going to reduce unemployment, we are going to reduce the debt, all go well without external happenings or natural disaster disruptions. Plan B, well, resilience. That if we encounter any disruption, natural or external. Plan C, we must be able to sustain ourselves during and after the eventualities of worst case scenario. That means the JLP have to be the government for now and has to be the government for the future.
Well said, bro.
Well said, Gustav. Well said.
Gustav.
Well said.
Gustav?
Gustav have said something that is very profound. When he said that Mark Golding did not mention anything in his budget about external shocks. And if we are taking notice what is happening now in the political arena, in the international world, we see where America seems that they want to go and pick a fight with Iran. And if that to happen, we know that the Middle East, where majority of the world crude oil come from and natural gas, will be in turmoil. So we know that right there and then, that will cause external shock and a balance of payment with oil, goods and all of these things. So we are, as what Gustav said, that the Prime Minister in his budget presentation take all these things in consideration, right? It is not just a runaway budget. We are looking political vote. He put a credible budget out there to the Jamaican people to make a practical decision.
Are you hearing me, Winston? Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you, neighbor.
All right. We have two plans before us. There are two distinct plans before us now. The argument that the PNP has placed nothing on the table is out the window. They have placed their plans on the table. When you look at both of them, is there any distinct difference between what the PNP is offering vis-a-vis what the Jamaica Labour Party is offering?
Most definitely.
Yes. Definitely. Tell us where are the differences?
Okay. All right. what the Prime Minister has presented this afternoon. The Prime Minister have displayed a level of fiscal prudency. He's thinking about productivity. The Prime Minister is also thinking about how to get the economy to be revved up so we can have greater economic development or expansion. Right? The opposition, what the opposition has presented is nothing more than to get us back where we are coming. Because what the opposition leader has presented last Tuesday will cost this country billions of dollars.
Trillions too. If worst case scenario happens to Winston, because all the way might put on the plan, you know, and no plan C nor B.
Yeah. Hold on, Winston. Robert Martin? Robert Martin? You're not ready. You're not ready, man. Robert? All right. Gustav?
Yes, my neighbor.
Yeah, man. Stay with me here for a minute. Gustav, the election is on. There is no question that the country is primed for an election. There is no doubt also that when you listen to the Prime Minister, here is where he's coming to the Jamaican people to say, you have reposed trust in me over the last 9 years, and I am the same person. I'm not a reckless person. I am a fiscally prudent person. I am going to manage the affairs of the country in your best interests. Do you think that the Jamaican people are going to buy that argument?
Well, it depends on the people who we're making reference to. Generally, to size it up, I won't use the general assessment. I would say people who are more literate are more capable of understanding the delivery of the Prime Minister, and persons who are willing to listen to the utterances that the Prime Minister being explained to them in a more layman term, which would be us, the vloggers, and other mediums. Yes, people will take to the polls bearing those factors in mind as to how they will benefit them as a people and us as a country going forward. But as it relates to generally, well, neighbor, reality is we might have an improvement in our literacy. However, our current affairs literacy seems to be way off. Other than just the academical literacy, when it relates to the current affairs literacy, we're way off. Hence, in closing, the Prime Minister would have stressed on this, an argument that myself would have used in the same words. Remember, the Prime Minister said in his closing words, we can't use the same emotion as we use in a sports. When sports go wrong, everything good in your pocket same way.
Yes, but there are some laborites who felt that today's presentation. No. Oh boy. Should have been used to knock the PNP out of the park completely. And you get the feeling that there is more that could have been said. Do you?
Right. But the thing is this, you see, the Prime Minister would have stressed in a meeting, right, in Northeast St. Elizabeth recently, as to how him and also the Labour Party would have raised the bar politically. Now, notwithstanding, you have an election to win. Nonetheless, you understand that, look, people in Jamaica are literate enough to understand basic school things and so forth in terms of academics. But when it comes to current affairs, the literacy of Jamaicans are way off. And when you find a prime minister,
this
neighbor,
is where the
neighbor,
party now. The
when you
prime
find a prime
minister
minister,
spoke today. Hold on.
yes,
The prime minister spoke today, right? He spoke today as the prime minister of Jamaica. This is where people like yourself and other laborites
hold on, neighbor. Quote what you say a while ago. He spoke to us as the prime minister, not as the Labour Party, not as the Labour Party headman, nor anything.
No.
Today he spoke to us from the capacity as a leader / prime minister, meaning all of us under one umbrella.
Right. So therefore, no, I want to talk to you as a laborite. I don't want to talk to you in the capacity of government. I want to speak to you as a man on the ground. How is it that the Labour Party now need to take the Prime Minister's presentation and sell it? I want you to talk to me about the politics of it.
All right, neighbor, if I were to give you the belly as to the facts that I would say, I would basically let you know that push out of the bag. Let me tell you why I said that. I personally spoke with the Prime Minister. Literally, I spoke with the Prime Minister himself when he came to Northeast St. Elizabeth, directly, face to face. I also spoke with somebody who is very close to the Prime Minister. You see, this that you mentioned a while ago, they have a solution for it. I gave them a proposal. And he patted me on the shoulder twice and said, look, very good, very, very good idea. And we won't let it fall on deaf ears. He reassured me
but
that it won't fall on deaf
Gustav,
ears.
it's mostly laborites listening to the program tonight, you know. I want you to tell laborites how they are going to take this message to the people. Because make no mistake about it, the PNP is now going through and going over the presentation to see how they can discredit it. This has to be where you win.
Neighbor.
Neighbor.
Yes, sir. Yes.
The PNP will try to discredit, right? But his presentation was what I said was a lot of people digest the presentation, meaning that a lot of people were listening, both PNP and Labour.
All right, Dominic, let me ask you the question.
Some non-voters, and I think it was very engaging.
Yeah, man. The point I'm making,
and his presentation had far more clarity than what Mark Golden. Mark Golden was all over the place with his presentation. The Prime Minister was in terms of clarity. That's why it took so long with his presentation.
Yeah, but he can't take this presentation on the street in a stump speech, you know. What I want Gustav to do is to stump the speech for me. How do you take this message now to the electorate?
Wonderful. The Labour Party has recognized and listened to the pain of the Jamaican people in the form of their expense and so forth. And usually, when your expense too high, it gives you little in terms of disposable income. Now, let us look at the factors that contributes to persons having lower disposable income, even if they're being paid above the minimum wage. All right. So, for example, if you rent a house or own a house and you go the straight way, you pay water bill and light bill. Normally, prior to the increase in a minimum wage and also prior to the reduction in the light bill, you would have complained, say, boy, you don't have enough money if you buy enough grocery. No, your light bill will be lesser. And in the same vein that your light bill will be lesser, guess what? You got an extra $1,000 now on your minimum wage or your salary if you get per fortnight or weekly. Now you plot those things together and you find, say, look, each person that will be benefiting from these policies will automatically and inevitably.
I just got a message from a Labour Party person who said to me they were expecting more. They were expecting more. They felt that the Prime Minister should have gone for the jugular. He should have, nailed it a little bit more.
That person, to me, that person is over ambitious and not careful as to their expectations.
It's the raw politics.
Neighbor. Raw politics are not neighbor. Yes, the expectation in terms of demands are there. Who denies that? Nobody. However, neighbor, it is by a phase-by-phase process which is most fitting and ideal for Jamaica at the time.
Are
Why,
you going to be
neighbor?
able
Hold
to
on,
sell
neighbor.
that
Here,
message?
neighbor, hold on. Neighbor, remember, Jamaica has what you call a recovering economy. And you
Yes.
cannot downplay the fact that the word recovering means something. Recovering means something. It means that something did happen bad before,
Yes,
so you have to recover now.
but Golden say statistic can yam. Huh?
And Golden is trying to mislead the people because statistics can eat.
Oh, you yam it.
All right, very good. For example, when I had a government provide you the statistics that I have reduced unemployment, it drives your confidence up now as a little shopkeeper. If you say, well, a good thing that. So you move up from a stall to a shop because the constituency where you live in, true enough people never gainfully occupied, you're better off with a stall and not a shop. Now, in the same constituency, more people being gainfully occupied. You look at a restaurant where you used to sell 100 food. Well, guess what? You at least I go sell 150 now. You understand me? More man I work, less time to cook.
This has to be an election of education. You hear me tell you so? This has to be an election where people are reasoned with, because the Jamaican people are not fools.
And the proposal the proposal, neighbor, the proposal that I proposed to the Prime Minister, and he said that he will acknowledge it. It will bridge that gap you're making reference to. I could easily well tell you now, but I don't want to give the PMP too much insight because they are strapped for ideas.
Yes. I'm Scratchy.
Yes, neighbor.
You are a political you are an experienced political operative on the ground. How you think this is going to play among labor rights? And I want you to give me the politics of it. The Prime Minister spoke as the Prime Minister today, but when he goes on the stump, when the labor rights are going to argue the budget on the stump, what is it that they are going to say to the man who say, why $1,000 man, that not enough, man, where Prime Minister take us for? Those are going to be the questions that you have to deal with tomorrow, no so?
Yes, neighbor, and if we should face the reality, neighbor,
yes,
a lot of persons were expecting more. Even us as labor right were expecting more. So a lot of labor rights were expecting more. But if you listen to the context, if you'd have to listen to the Prime Minister's presentation to get the full understanding. If you listen to the context of what the Prime Minister was saying,
and you know, Scratchy, I estimated about 50,000 people listen today, which is a very small PBC.
No, sir, more than 50,000 listen. Let me tell you why. When the Prime Minister initial live ended, it was 43,000 odd, and then he went live again. The person went live again, and so forth. So that means that was just the Prime Minister's page alone.
Okay.
And that was that matter of fact, that was just a TikTok part of it. I haven't got a chance to see over the Facebook part of it, but for the TikTok part, now the Instagram, I haven't got a chance to see. But
we're going to go back to
43,000 counting.
Would you agree though that not many persons sat for 4.5 hours and listened the presentation?
I will definitely agree. Neither of the presentations were listening to.
Yeah,
so what they are going to
work,
do are the highlights.
2 o'clock and people have work. A lot of people have work.
Yes.
So
the highlights
at work.
Highlights.
So yeah.
Neighbor.
Let's hold on. Let's get back to Scratchy.
Neighbor.
Hold
Can I add
on.
something, neighbor? Let me add something quick and then we go to Scratchy. What I want to say is that remember, you're gonna have the commentators tomorrow. And they're going to repeat much of what he said. So even those people who never catch a lot of what he said.
But that does not give them the context, sir. That does not give them the context.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, this is what they will do. They will play snippet of the Prime Minister and his speech. It will also come out in the Gleaner and the Observer. A lot of people read those. Because as I'm explaining, if I'm a person and my job is to work on the wharf, right? Me not go hear the stuff them, but probably me a drive going in the morning. Me go listen nationwide. And me try to get a Gleaner. So those are the people, that's why I'm saying, those are the people that need to hear it from the commentators, the economics person, You understand me though? So then we hear it further.
Dominant one, not only that too. Dominant one. Neighbor, hold on. Answer this all long. Neighbor, hold on. Dominant and neighbor, hold on.
The great, hold on.
The MP,
the
them
greater
neighbor, hold on,
majority of
neighbor.
persons will be on TikTok and on social media seeing the highlights. I can tell you this, right? That the thing that is going to go viral tomorrow is that clip about the paternity test. Yes, that's the one.
The laughter part of it. We understand
Right.
that.
But
neighbor, let me just say this to you, neighbor. Let me just say this to you, neighbor.
I can tell you this, that the $1,000 increase in the minimum wage is going to be a major talking point among Jamaicans tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I want you, Scratchy, to talk to me about how this is going to play politically on the ground. Don't be afraid to address it.
I want to make an input concerning that.
Let's scratch it.
Definitely, we won't be afraid to address it, neighbor. As I said, a lot of persons might say that 1,000 is not enough, as I said before. I myself, I was also expecting more, but again, sometimes our expectation doesn't match it with the reality of what is going on. We have to trust that the Prime Minister is in a position where he understands the physical books more than us looking out and looking in. But we also understand his neighbor. But I would say to persons that don't just look at the $1,000 increase, look at the fact that where it's coming from to where it is now. What I would also say to those persons is that over the period of time, Jamil Jamal.
Johnny, you don't mute no man. Ellie, you don't mute man. Can I mute a little bit, man? Come on, Ellie and Johnny.
What I would also say to persons, neighbor, is that what we have to look at is a stepping stone. We have to understand that again, neighbor, we have seen where external factors has also affected the economy. When I say external factors, I'm talking about Hurricane Beryl, Tropical Storm Raphael. We see where that has set us back. And we have to also understand, neighbor, that with the recent increase that the Prime Minister gave to the businesses in the income tax threshold, we have to understand that he has to bear in mind that he has to know how he's attacking this increase in the minimum wage. We don't want to too much show off certain things. And what I think one of the main factors that the Prime Minister look at, neighbor, is there are a lot of businesses in Jamaica right now, neighbor, that are not paying the exact 15,000 that the minimum wage was. A lot of these persons are paying up to $20,000 per week and more. So the Prime Minister is looking at it that, okay, then what is the average based on what they have the numbers where they can look and see how many persons are paying the exact minimum wage. I don't think it's a majority. It's a minimal amount. So they say, okay, then.
Typically, wholesale jobs, typically the wholesale jobs.
Yes, it's not a big amount. So we say that with a $1,000 increase, it might be in the stepping stone. So we have to understand again, there's also a budget to be read in the next year again. There's a possibility now that with increase and without any form of hurricane storm or anything on booster, there's a possibility we might see a further increase coming next year.
Inevitable, Scratchy. It is inevitable that we'll see
a further increase come next year. So I mean, neighbor, I would say to persons who say that the $1,000 increase is not enough.
Is the Prime Minister's presentation sufficient to match the promises that can come in an election? Because remember, elections are about promises, you know.
But neighbor, remember the Prime Minister himself uttered these words, or this word. He said this presentation is more of a prospectus rather than that of a run with it. Meaning, yes, we're just gonna expand on the trajectory that we were on already, that we're bearing good results.
Why not lock out the opposition? Because the opposition.
But the opposition was already locked out, neighbor. The opposition was already locked out, you know.
Neighbor. Like I have my input here. First, I want to say that I am not for the increase in the minimum wages.
You are not?
No, and the reason for this is we are hearing the cry concerning inflation. An increase in the minimum wage will automatically create an inflation.
Not $1,000.
No, Winston. No.
Listen to me, neighbor. Hold on, Gustav. Let me show you an example, neighbor. The last statistic I heard of is that we have over 11,000 plus bars in Jamaica. Right? I'm just going to use a bar as an example. A bar employ at least 2 persons per 2 weeks. So you're talking about at least 20,000 people employed in this sector, right? when tomorrow morning or whenever time it take effect, the bar owner face that, listen, I have to give my bar worker $1,000 more and her pay, right? Where that $1,000 will come from.
Exactly, Winston. Stick up in. Hold on, Winston. Hold on, Winston. You make a good point, but hold on. Make an answer you now as a fellow labor, right? Exactly. So me love how you ask a question. Wonderful. You make sense 100%. But here how me clarify that. Good. Remember, the same bar owner has what you call operational expense, meaning the expense that that owner has to take care of to operate the bar. For example, let's say the bar owner owns the premises and the bar, goes the straight way and has to pay electricity and was paying electricity. Now the increase in minimum wage can be more conducive to the bar owner, to the bartender. Here why? You, the bar owner, expense has dipped, meaning you are now paying less for electricity expense, which typically a part of the reason why she or him now pay above the minimum wage per se. So now, what this increase in the minimum wage do now, and also the reduction in the light bill, allow for what you call collective bargaining. Collective bargaining means that you and your boss have a reason and say, well, bossy, boy, you know, say, like how you pay less on the light bill now. You know, things say 1,000 can go up on my pay now. So that's the thing where it's set up. So inflation can go up if the economy is not conducive to a minimum wage increase, because
you know, Gustav, inflation means that you have unsupported funds in the economy, you know, which is driving demand, and there's a lot of cash available.
Yeah, but what Winston mean to a neighbor? What Winston means if you have a shambled economy, an economy that is unstable, and in a country where the investor confidence is low and consumer confidence low, and then you increase the minimum wage, then it will lead to a Winston stay. Inflation, meaning
not by $1,000 though. $1,000 in minimum wage pockets is not going to drive inflation. That's not
neighbor.
No, I was just giving you the instant as to how it could inspire it. Even if it won't cause it, it could inspire it in the sense like this, neighbor. Remember, what if neighbor, if the business was operating at a loss, meaning its operational cost is causing them to operate at a loss already, but they are just trying their best to hold on and hoping, say, things might change. And then here comes, while the company or business operate at a loss, the government grant a minimum wage increase. That business can either close its door or reduce the amount of people it uses, or resort to automation, because the economy in shambles and business confidence low, consumer confidence low. Now, in the opposite, now what we see the reality is investor confidence up and consumer confidence up. It means now that the economy is inviting or conducive for a minimum wage increase at a certain percent. You have to put that into context. Yes. At a certain percent. Why? The economy is the driving factor as to how you can increase the minimum wage, and by what percent. It is also the economy that can determine whether or not you don't increase it. So it is based on the part and the current statistics where Andrew Holness them assess at the economy say, yo, listen, we're going also into a hurricane season. Now look at the factors that can drive down growth, not up. Hurricanes and excessive period of drought, natural disaster can drive down growth and productivity. Now we're just 3 months away from the hurricane season, but we're always prone to natural disasters and pandemic and epidemic. So therefore, Andrew Holness recognizes that, especially say with the 3 months away from the hurricane season.
Gusto, I think the part that the Prime Minister is looking at, and this is a practical point that we need to also look at. Don't look at it as just $1,000, neighbor. Say I am a small business operator, neighbor, and I have two staff who I am paying minimum wage exactly every week, $15,000. Neighbor, with 52 weeks, that's an extra $104,000 I might have. Now look at what check if I have 4 staff. That's an extra $208,000 for the year. So you don't just look at it as $1,000 for the week. Look at it on a yearly basis. Now, a small business now with a cost of additional 208,000 neighbor. That is an increase in the owner going into his pocket to find 208,000 more.
And that person for that business I go want to make back that money somewhere.
Exactly. So
So it does sell up the cost of goods and service. Yes, it does sell up the cost of goods and service.
So he's going to pass on the cost to the consumers.
Yeah, one minute,
Yes.
Winston. I think it would be disingenuous for us to just sit here and say that it's $1,000 a week. Look at it at a yearly basis. If I have 4 staff, that's $208,000 for the year extra that I'm gonna have to fork out for salary increase. Now, yes, you might say that, but bossy, you have gotten the light bill has decreased from 15% to 7%. But the Prime Minister is not just looking at it. The Prime Minister is looking at a win-win situation where both employers and
the business win. Right.
It's a win-win situation for both.
Yeah, man, you have to protect the employer. I have to protect
There's a new person online. Let's hear.
Gustav, seriously, Gustav. Listen. I will calm down. If I am operating a business, and last financial year, I am paying my staff $15,000 per week, and let's say I made a profit of $500,000. But come 2025 now, I have to fork out additional $100,000 or come out of my profit to pay that very same worker for the same amount of hours of work, for the same amount of production, but it cut into my profit. How that benefit me as a business person?
Wonderful, because in a Jamaica, very good question. Now, in a Jamaica, out of 100%, probably 99% of businesses uses electricity. No, the fact that these businesses uses electricity, Winston, you call this operational costs. And these costs kind of help businesses to pay people a certain amount above the minimum wage or the precise amount. So when the government made that effort to reduce the operational cost expense of a business, it is supposed to be passed down to the employee, because that was the reason why not only us as consumers, household, why the government say, yo, we can reduce light bill. No, the government think about the economy as well. So the driving force of the economy are businesses. How many businesses rely on electricity? Roughly 99%. These factors. Pardon?
There's a guest online. Licia is
Miss Tyrell. Okay, Miss Tyrell. No problem, neighbor. Can we welcome new guests?
Tyrell? Good night. Good night, Tyrell.
All right, until Tyrell really, neighbor, we could just hear what Omalu have to say, because, you know, we're working now. We're work over time. You know what we are doing. Yes. Stop the work.
Omalu?
Yeah, good night.
Good night,
Omalu. Did we hear good night. Did we hear anything in the budget where we could say the Prime Minister have cut certain things that will spur economic growth?
That he has cut?
No, sir, we haven't heard anything that will deter or cut economic growth.
No, that will excel economic growth.
Go again with the question then, sir.
Hold on, Gustav. Omalu.
Yeah.
Do you know? Have you studied economics?
I have an understanding. So let's just, after you hear me talk, just make your judgment from there. No, but you know, for a reason, it's not nice you question somebody's ability, you know, when you're a reason, man. That's not nice, not nice about that.
It's not your ability. I want to ask you a question, and I want to make sure that the question is not out of context. I'm not questioning your ability.
You could go ahead and ask.
I think you should let him make him suggestion, neighbor.
Okay. All right.
I thought that give me that opportunity, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let me not ask the question. I've heard the Prime Minister have made some cuts and basically tax give back and all of these type of things over a period of time. So basically, on doing these things, I think these things will excel economic growth. Having more disposable funds will then drive business to make more money. making more money, they could afford to give $1,000 on these wages increase. Yeah, because it's more disposable funds in people's pocket. Make the bar more people will come at the bar and spend more money. Yeah, and the pub owner can then say, okay, I'm making more money based on the policies that the government has put in place for economic growth to continue going.
Yes, Omalu, you're basically
Understand?
agreeing with us, Omalu. That's what we were saying. That's what we were saying as well, man. You're basically agreeing with us.
Yeah, because that's all because we are operating in a consumer economy, you know. So consumption is the greatest part of the return to the government, where all the government get taxes, and this also helps spur the small business them and the big business them in Jamaica. So basically, once the government makes cut in things that put more disposable funds in people's pocket. A man where used to spend $1,000 at the bar now, maybe have 1,500. Maybe 10 people now that used to spend $1,000, which was 10,000, it's $15,000 now.
And when the disposable income go up Omalu, your spending power increase automatically, because it is the disposable income that sometimes determines the strength of your spending power. And them I think I go give people better spending power.
But
yeah,
Omalu, the question,
I am agreeing with
Omalu, I know you came on late, Omalu. The question that neighbor was asking Omalu was, what do we as labor right say to persons who are going to come and say $1,000 increase in the minimum wage is not expecting more? What would you say to a person like that?
But you cannot. Nobody can say $1,000 increase in the minimum wage is nothing, because it's $4,000 extra for the month. That could, if you go in the supermarket, would make a great difference. Yeah, it will make a great difference. It's somebody that is on the light where they're making where.
We're not saying nobody can. Persons are gonna, but we want to know what will be rebuttal. We are $40,000. Let's get it straight.
Well, even though I said they can't, I'm giving you a reason as to why they can't. They're not supposed to say it. Well, I'm giving you a reason as to why they're not supposed to say it. Because a lot of people can use this $4,000 and put them on their prepaid, right? There maybe my phone, my phone bill for the whole month, I would have on a plan is $4,000. So I'm getting something that I never had before. That is creating some form of ease to my life.
And you might can buy an extra 10 pounds of rice and flour.
It can buy extra 10 pounds of rice. It can buy more chicken. It can give my kids them more, put more money inside their lunch money, or bus fare, or whatsoever. So it's more, it's $4,000 more.
Exactly. And a neighbor, one of the points I want to make in a neighbor, I live here in Canada, neighbor, right now. And guys, what I want you to understand, the other day we had a raise in the minimum wage. And our minimum wage was just raised by $1.50, I believe. So you're not gonna, you understand where I'm coming from, guys? It's $1.50 where it was raised by. But at the end of the day, guys, don't just look at it at 1,000. Look at it over the 52 weeks that you're working. That's 52,000 extra you're making for the year.
Yeah,
that's big, man.
And at the same time, the government in his budget speech, he's saying we are going to be trying to do everything to manage cost of living. So, and one of the highest places where cost of living show is in food. So if you can manage cost of living in food, and I'm getting $4,000 extra, you are making a great difference in my life.
So Malalo, that was my concern, and I don't know if you were listening earlier on when I made the point.
I just came on.
The point I was trying to make is that we are having a struggle from last year concerning cost of living, right? With simple, basic food items. So every man you meet on the street are complaining about basic food items. So I am saying that if we can find a way to make this $1,000 increase in the minimum wages cause the food and the grocery shelf to go up, fine. Simple, fine. But we know how we Jamaican are. We're not willing to give up nothing without getting back something in return.
You know, I think last year was an exceptional year. We started off with drought. Right, if one of the first earliest in our whole entire season, we get a hurricane July. Right down to in October, November, right there again, we get a next weather event. Yeah, and we had a whole heap of rain throughout. I think last year was an exceptional year. So, you know, in our agriculture, controlling the price of goods and services. Yeah. So really and truly, you'll have to look at an exceptional year in terms of this disturbance, not as the norm, yeah? And look and see, okay, what are the measures being put in at this moment? Because at least we had an exceptional year, but there were measures that put in that really help, not I would say in a very reasonable time to have the inflation of food under control and stuff like this. So let's look at this year and see, you know, what are the measures that were put in last year, if they are holding up this year, where we going to have a better year in food production, productivity.
So Omalu, we have the opposition's plans, we have the government's plans. How do you think that both are going to play in the Jamaican psyche, in the population, in the voters' mind? They have listened to Golden, they have listened to Holness.
I have already know who is going to win the election.
Yes.
I know who is going to win it. To me, it's going to be 37-26. Andrew Holness is going to hold. What I would love to happen is that Andrew Holness put a committee together and say, look at the opposition budget and look at the government budget and take the best things them from it that can make Jamaica better, and let's move Jamaica forward.
You think the government is going to win 37 seats?
To me, I feel the government is going to win 37 seats. And 37-26. The opposition is going to win 26 seats. That's
but then that would be quite an improvement on the opposition side, man.
Yeah, but you know why I said that also? Because you have to understand, money plays a great deal in election. And we were the last election that we were in wasn't a normal election. There was a split party we went up against. We went up against people holding back money from the party, the ones them that had money and stuff like that. So and we went up in a time where it was a way you call it a pandemic. It's a different total thing right now. They don't have the strength of money like the JLP, but right at this moment, the people in Jamaica will not just automatically change because somebody else promising there something when they see something is going on. And that is why I come to 37-26.
But then that's a close election, Omalu. That is a close election.
37-26?
Yes. The PNP now has that's almost doubling them.
But you have to also understand, you know, that most of the seats them that the JLP won, you know, were PNP stronghold seats.
So you are giving them 11 seats?
I'm giving, that's what I'm saying, 37, 26. No, that's not 11. That's, I think, like 12 seats.
You are giving the PNP a gain of 12? Boy, I think any comrade listening to you tonight would be happy.
Happy to lose? You're going to be happy to lose?
But that's still going to give them any form of victory, so they would be happy.
I don't understand what he's saying. Happy to lose? When you look at the JLP, you had 42 to 20, I think, what was that? 42 to 21. Andrew was at 21. Andrew win 12 seats. So you always like to me have 12 seats in play. It was 32, it was 33 to 30. Yeah? Portia lose 12 seats out of 42. So I'm just looking at it in a reasonable way. I'm not looking at it in a way where no feelings way. I'm looking at it in a real political way. And you have to understand the opposition have money to spend, and they've been on the road energizing their loyal fans, although they have a little split in the party still.
And that is why I think, say, you know, after this, it's the end of the Jamaica. After this, it's the end of the People's National Party because they're not going to find they're not going to find a leader.
Oh, you mean the end of the PNP?
Because they never will find a leader. Who is going to be the leader after Mark?
No, Paul will.
Paul who?
Yes, Mr. Paul will definitely. I think Mr. Paul will definitely push himself to be the leader once Mark is designated.
Yes, of course.
Damian Crawford can't lead them. Paul will can't lead them. Just them are going on right after Andrew. When come Nigel Clark, and Nigel Clark will come back and take over the party. Right after Nigel.
What you saying to me?
Come on, man. You have to understand power dynamics and how power work, man. You have to understand these things. Power dynamics and how power work.
Nigel is coming back.
Nigel make it clear that he's going away for 5 years and nobody know what the future will bring. When you tell me that, and I know that the certain sector of society in Jamaica really love you and the people in favor you. Nigel will come back to the
Paul no will. Paul is not will.
But this is just my prediction. Remember, Omalo prediction 37-26.
Oh boy. Omalo, is it your first time on this program?
Very first time.
You know, we do forecasting, sir. I would love to talk back to you one of these days next week when we are crunching the numbers.
But you see, what I do, I love economics. I'm a policy person. I love talk about economics and policies. Yeah, that's what I love doing. I love economics and policies. I love solutions. I'm a solution person.
Okay. Well, Paul, boy, I tell you, this is so funny. Paul Noel. Oh gosh, this is funny.
Paul will come in to lead a party with a track record of all the corruption them from under PJ parties. How are you going to do that when people have a habit say you are the one that set out JPS Paul and Noel. we are being JPS is dealing with the way we are. Nobody going to use Paul Will to lead the party. And Damian Crawford are going to show himself. But listen to me, the ideology that Damian Crawford is coming with, it is not, this is the ideology of the past, not the ideology of the future. So Damian Crawford not going anywhere. Who you're going to use? Who you're going to use that really as an ideology that favors the business class in Jamaica? Because you have to treat it has to go aligned with the business class in Jamaica. Your ideology in politics now has to go in line with the business class in Jamaica, because the business class in Jamaica is who controls the economy. And if they are not getting from the politicians what they want, they can easily destroy the whole economy.
What about Angela Brownberg?
Angela who? Yo, come on, man. Come on. What they are going to do after this election, you see, the Jamaica Labour Party have given what's his name a seat, Bunting, based on what happened in the constituency that Bunting is running, and this late transfer, they have given Bunting a seat. So they are going to, after something they lose, they are going to put Bunting in a theme space. But Bunting, the people that is one PMP will never forgive Riser, which is Bunting. So they're going to continue having this split.
I see.
As a neighbor, definitely for sure we know that the Jamaica Labour Party will win this election.
Yes.
That's not a if or a but. I want persons out there not to just look at this 1,000 increase and say that it's just 1,000. It's 52,000 over a 1 year period. That's a big man. That's 52,000 that you didn't have adding to your new budget. Jackie, mute, please. This person come up on the mute. So yes, neighbor, as I was saying, it's a $1,000 increase. It might seem small when you look at it and say it's just $1,000, but look at it over the year. This is 52,000 that it didn't have last year. 52,000 that can go far away. 52,000 that can add to something towards your child, schooling, first something personal that you might like for yourself. So we can look at it in a whole like a different way, neighbor. Anyway, you want to take it, it's not just $1,000, it's 52,000 over a year period.
Quite so. Quite so. Boy, I tell you. Gustav? Oh my goodness.
And I want persons to understand that this government is a caring government. This government is also a sharing government. Any government neighbor that you see that is giving up revenue, and while giving up revenue, they are still giving back to persons in different ways. This is a caring government. We have seen it. Persons who get an increase in the threshold neighbor, those persons will definitely save some form of money. So the Prime Minister said, okay then, minimum wage persons can definitely save also as well. It's not just a one person thing. It's a holistic approach that the Prime Minister has took. And to my fellow labor rights who might be looking and saying I'm disappointed, I expected more from the Prime Minister. I expected. Why these persons come on and not muted, man? The persons who come in or who come on, I might be saying that I expected more from the Prime Minister. Yes, guys, our expectations can, yes, we all have expectations, but sometimes Malu, mute now, please, Maji. Sometimes our expectations is way different from the reality. The Prime Minister is in a position that we are not in. We don't know the books. We cannot see we don't know the numbers. The Prime Minister has the ability to see the numbers and crunch the numbers. And my point that I also want to drive is whatever increase that we got in the minimum wage is based on what is going on in the economy. Hurricane Beryl, Tropical Storm Raphael derailed us. We lost $58 billion.
Omar is in the box saying that I can tell you the $1 grand increase, people see it as disrespect. JLP will lose vote for it. Respond to that.
Again, to Omar Green neighbor, I would say don't just look at it as a 1,000 disrespect. Look at it as 52,000 that it didn't have last year. Look what you can do with 52,000. If you should put away that 1,000 extra that you're getting, and over a year period, that's 52,000 that they didn't have last year. So don't just look at it. I mean, neighbors, persons who live overseas can attest to these things. When minimum wage raised overseas, it doesn't raise by any big amount. It raised by $1.50, $1.75. That's how we get increases in the minimum wage. Neighbor, we have to understand. Persons need to understand that the government did this increase based on how the performance of the economy. We did with our economy contracted in the last 2 periods. We didn't get to grow to the level that we wanted because of Hurricane Beryl and Tropical Storm Raphael. $58 billion was taken out of the economy, and despite that, this government still come and present a credible budget. We have to be accepted of that. We have to understand the context that we are in. We have to understand that sometimes, again, our expectation doesn't match the reality. I mean, neighbor, I want a Lamborghini. Can I just say, my expectation, yes, I want a Lamborghini. Yes. I just can't get a Lamborghini like that. I have to make sure that I put myself in a context and the frame of mind and the right financial way to get that Lamborghini.
Yes, and then you have to also look at the impact on the employer.
Exactly, neighbor, because I break it down and I said if you're an employer, neighbor, and you have 2 staff, that's an extra 104,000 I know that you have to add towards salaries. If you have 4 staff, neighbor, that's an extra 208,000 that you have to add to salaries. So persons need to take these things in mind. Persons have to take these considerations in mind.
You know, the Jamaican people might use too much emotions. They might care about for themselves only. Not remembering, say, businesses and investors provide employment for them, they can even bargain for minimum wage or wage at all. Every country have to protect its investors because them are the driver of the economy. It's people as a country are its greatest assets. But nonetheless, the people them who invest them trillions and millions are the driving factors of the economy. For the economy sustain itself and continue to grow, every plan of the government must center around the people and the business people as well. And that the government do. So the people them will vex about the minimum wage increase, they only care about them because they're self-centered. But if businesses were to be left out or undone, people go out of work and they won't even have a case to argue for more work. So in the first place, the reason why you can argue for more pay because you have a job opportunity. Then if increasing the minimum wage kill the job opportunity and you get displaced. Instead of you lobby for your work, you know, if you start to look at work, people if you have sense.
Definitely,
Yes.
Gustav.
But Gustav,
Yeah.
I think this is what is going to play over the next couple of days. You see, it affects a lot of Jamaicans, and I believe that we have explored tonight how to respond to it, Scratchy. Because wouldn't you agree that many people are going to be asking questions as to because they don't understand?
That's why
Neighbor.
whenever I'm driving it, I'm telling persons that don't look at it as this person, no, look at this person. Omar Green is saying disrespect, but I never increase it. Omar, you're getting 52,000 extra for the year. What do you mean? Isn't 52,000 extra better than nothing at all? Come on, guys, talk and think with sense, no man. Don't just come talk and say things out
So
your mouth.
over one
Neighbor.
year, you are $52,000 more you're getting for the year.
Neighbor.
52,000
And
extra
that
you're
is
getting for the year,
52,000 that
Omar.
your
If you get
employer will have to
52,
find.
if it's increased by
Neighbor,
1,000,
can I say something?
hold on, Omar. If it's increased by 1,000 per week, Omar Green, 52 weeks is in the year, Omar Green. Isn't that an increase of 52,000 for the year? Come on, bro. Think, man, you're gonna say you shouldn't increase it. What you prefer? $52,000 is much better than nothing at all.
Let me ask you something. You think somebody that is supporting the Jamaica Labour Party would say, would have any objection against the raise?
Yes, I think some will have, yes.
I think if there is even, it's going to be a very small portion. Yeah? I think that the Jamaica Labour Party must not let the PMP, things that the Prime Minister said, that they know they're going to be defeated by, let them use it in a way for you to be defending something where you should be celebrating it. Yeah? You can't, listen to me. You have to get on the offense. Talk about all the great things that hear in the budget. Talk about these things. Let the people them know what is that they are going to get, rather than let the PMP put you in a defensive position, saying that something that is good for the society is not good, because they know that they choose nothing else but the minimum wage, because they know the effect of the minimum wage on the people them. But no, if you take it up and start defending and playing defense rather than being an offense, push it to the great things them. The only thing I see the Prime Minister don't do that I would love him to do, and I'm going to tell him to add it to the budget next year, is to bring back Tree, draw a plan for the beautification of Tree, like Edward Seaga have it in the 80s. Just like how he's beautifying the entrance at Kingston and the entrance to the airport and stuff like that. Get on the offense, man. We don't have too much thing to talk about on offense. In there, play defense.
Omar Green, I would say to you, Omar Green, don't be selfish, bro. Look at this thing from a different level. Don't just look at this is our problem as Jamaicans. Don't look at things from a personal level. Don't look at things. We don't take a holistic approach when you're looking at things. Look at things from an employer level. Omar Green, if you have a small business, Omar, and you employ 2 persons and you're paying them the exact minimum wage, Omar, with an increase in the minimum wage right now, that's 104,000 extra for you. You're going to try to lay off one and say, okay, I can't manage it. The Prime Minister has to be practical. You know, we increase the minimum wage, Omar. The Prime Minister could have put the minimum wage at $30,000. But when he put it to $30,000, how many persons will get laid off? That will then we see a rapid increase in the unemployment rate again. So don't come on here and be selfish and talk things out of, just talk things from a color point. I'm not talking as a JLP or a PNP. I'm talking as a Jamaican right now. I'm talking from a practical level. I'm talking as someone who has persons who understand what it is to be an employer and also an employee. Small businesses are the driving force in Jamaica. A lot of the persons who are employed in Jamaica are employed through small businesses. Small businesses is what drive any economy. So when the Prime Minister add $1,000 extra there, I'm first thing again, neighbor, a lot of these organizations are already paying over the minimum wage. Yes. It's a minimal amount which pay the exact minimum wage. A minimal. Majority of them, neighbor, paying over the minimum wage. It's a small amount that is paying under the minimum, that is paying the exact minimum wage. So don't come on here, guys, and be stupid or be foolish. And the man who's paying the exact minimum wage is a man who might be making less than 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $10 million a year. That is a man who's paying the exact minimum wage. So we have to be practical with that man and make sure that man doesn't shut down in business and lose in business or send home an employee because he can't manage.
Yes. Don Spence.
Hello.
Good night, sir. You have between 3 and 5 minutes to engage with us. How are you?
I'm good.
Where are you? Which part of the island are you?
I'm in the Prime Minister constituency.
Aye. How you think things are looking based on this budget presentation tonight?
Well, it was a good one, although I didn't listen from the start because I was at work, and where I work I cannot use my phone, so I come home and catch the last part of it.
Good. Is it your first time on this program?
Sure.
Wow. And you
I
think
think
that...
I was on it last night, but I didn't do any comments.
Yeah, man, you can talk to us. So tell us how you feel about things. Tell us anything you want to talk to us about. Ask any questions. Go ahead.
Well, what I think about the budget is that it is a good budget because there's no tax increase with the next year, and people I hear somebody say he shouldn't increase he should put more upon it. But I'm working from I was 15, and what I work when I was 15 is far more different than though, because my work that I do, I'm a janitor and also I'm a janitor and also a mixologist and bartender.
You're a mixologist?
Yeah.
Wow. And bartender?
Yeah.
Lovely, man. You can mix drinks, eh?
Yeah.
Sex on the beach.
Any one of them I want, just name it and you get it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, for me, the minimum wage is, I was when I just start work, I was getting, that was in what, 1999 coming up. I was getting $400 per week.
You in 1999, you get $400, eh?
Yeah, and
yes,
until I left and go cut bone cane. Yeah, so for me it's a great opportunity.
So you tell me something. So you I don't want you to tell us how much you're getting now, but you are in a better position now than you were in 1999.
Yeah.
Yes, $400. Oh boy. So you are quite happy with what is happening, and you think that the Prime Minister is going to win again?
Yeah. Third term.
Eh?
Third term.
He's gonna get a third term.
Yeah.
Wow.
Market, you need to start preparing banana boat to go back home from now.
His preparing is what?
Banana boat. we are sending him back on him banana boat.
Wow. Boy, I'd love to meet you one day, my brother.
Man.
And talk to you a little bit more, you know?
Yeah.
And make me one of them strong drinks to to relax, eh?
Yeah.
Yes. Which drinks you drink now to relax your nerves?
Well, I drink some nice cool coconut water.
Yes. Yes. Nice talking to you. You hear, sir?
Yes, same to you.
Great. All right. So Scratchy,
Yes, never.
the fact of the matter is that the minimum wage has to be placed within the context of the entire budget. It's not a one-off thing, eh?
Exactly.
And those persons who pick out $1,000 are playing politics. But we know that is going to be played. That's all.
Huh?
We know that they're going to play politics.
Exactly. We know they're going to play politics, neighbor. That's so I am prepared for them. I'm prepared for them to tell them that it's not just $1,000 extra. It's 52,000 when you check it over there that you didn't have last year.
Yes, and the fact, as Omalo say, is that you have to be on the offensive to counter them argument there, because you have to
that's why I'm willing to let them know it is 52,000 that you didn't have last year. Because look at Omar agreement in the comments saying that.
Scratchy, you know one argument that is very good to go with that. The Prime Minister said, we have put a team together from the agriculture to look at the Minister of Finance to look at goods coming into Jamaica that we could ease the tariff at the wharf, stamp duty and all of these things that we don't produce here, that we could bring in, that could make life, cost of living cheaper for people.
That is an important point. Yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot more to come from the sectorial debate.
So you're trying to control inflation and the rising costs.
There's a lot more to come from the sectorial debate as well, neighbor. A lot more to come. There's a lot more to come.
You see, you only have inflation, you know. You only have inflation when you have a lot of money chasing to little bit of goods. And we don't have the blockage them or the problems them outside where ships are not moving, or prices of goods, the commodity prices out of whack going up throughout the world and stuff like this. So really and truly, you see we're coming down in inflation at 4 point little bit. Yeah. So prices is really right now is under control in Jamaica.
I mean, the Bank of Jamaica projected, they had a projection of 6% and we're at 4.4%. So we're still within the range.
So if we now are going to look at, say, okay, most of these things that are on a supermarket shelf, we don't grow wheat, we don't grow this, we don't grow that, we don't do this, we don't do that. All right, some of these prices can cut. When more of you cut it, more of these things can come in now. Me can buy, rather than buy 2 pounds of flour, me I buy 3 pounds of flour. The businessman are carrying more flour. Me I sell, me I buy more. The man is a trigger effect in the economy when you do these type of things.
Yes.
This is the reason why, although America carrying most of what they eat from overseas, one of the things that let them can do this stuff is that they don't really charge tariff. Tariff now is going to drive up the inflation over there. But really and truly before that, they have low levels of inflation because they have enough goods coming in and people have enough money to match the goods. So basically you have money to match the goods, you never have no inflation. Once productivity can match the dollars, the monetary fund, you're good.
Yes.
So really and truly,
I mean, the Prime Minister has done the benefit us in a lot of ways. With the increase in the fitness of vehicle from 1 year to 3 years. That is a big ease on taxi drivers. That you're saving up to $12,000 for the year or $9,000 for the year. That's a big, and I believe it's 9,000 or so. That's a big increase again. That's a big saving. So anyway, take it somewhere, somehow. Everyone in the economy is saving in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but Canty Dawson, I haven't heard you on the budget, man. Why? What's happening to you tonight?
You know, I think that is going to create a psychological effect. These changes in the registration fees. I think it's going to run a lot of hustlers out of business. Yeah.
when
I
I
mean,
can
that,
able to do my,
and
when I
that is the
able to
aim.
do my, yes, so you see, there are, you know, you have to, most people maybe see, oh, I can do this for 2 years, but they don't understand the effect of running out somebody that trying to stand up out there, trying to hustling all the time. He don't see me for the next 2 years, what he's going to do within those period of time.
Exactly.
So we have to understand the psychology behind all of these things. You see, one of the things that politicians need to do, and you must always acknowledge it when it's happening, is how do you do things to change the culture? Because the culture, if we have the culture thinking in a certain way, the culture is what will make us win or will make us fail. So the policies that put in place will determine how the culture function.
Yes. All right, guys. It's been a long shift. It's been a long day. I see that our listeners are still staying with us. We have to wrap up now, Scratchy. Just sum up everything for us today, now, Scratchy, and let us say good night.
Yes, again, but it was a good day for us as a democratic nation, a good day for Jamaica. It was a win. It is good when we can see a prime minister come before us and be as honest as he can with us, be real with us. Don't come and sell any samfire or any trick or try to trick us. You know, it's always a blessing to have a prime minister like that. It is someone who is showing that he has character. This is someone who is showing that we can trust him. And I implore every single Jamaicans, all 3 million of us, to just come forward, guys. Research, guys, before you come and spew lies. Don't just let any person say anything to you. If there's something about the budget that you don't understand, seek clarity from someone who might have further understanding. Don't just run out and say certain things and look stupid. And again, person, just see where in this budget where there's something in it for you. Just search and you will see where you can benefit in some way, shape, or form. Again, with the increase in the fitness fee, I don't think taxi operators will be barging down the government throat now for an increase in taxi fares. That is also a benefit to the common man who take taxi. Guys, there's a win-win for us in every single way that we possibly can think of. So again, now the minister will be closing the budget, I believe, next week. So we can let's just rally around our prime minister. Let's just rally around our country. For too long, Jamaicans, we have got accustomed to the budget where we're used to things just running with it, where we're used to personal handouts, guys. This is a different approach being taken by this prime minister. We're putting country first, and I think that is a good approach and a good way to go forward. Jamaica is not just for us right now, guys. We have to think about the benefit of our kids, our grandkids who are coming up. And we have to just be as real and positive as possible. Jamaica one love every time, and as I always say in Jamaica, we're not where we want to be, but we are far from where we used to be, and we need to be appreciated. And I think we need to be more appreciative. We need to learn to be more grateful and thankful. One love, Jamaica. We'll see you guys again tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Scratchy. Omalo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have heard
to wrap up.
What I'll push. I love the budget, and I'll be pushing. I will start my campaign now for the Prime Minister. Yeah, my schoolmate. Yeah, I will start the campaign for him now. We used to go to school together in the same grade and stuff like that. So we start the campaign for him now. Yeah, but one of the things that they need to do next year, they must start at 12 o'clock, man. They must come on at 2 o'clock, man. Start the thing early so the thing can get over with, because you lose people. You're losing a lot of people. Jamaicans that will sit down for 5 hours, try rush hours and all of them things for them houses and all of them things. Yeah, they need to start this thing much more early. But it was yeah, talking about AI, talking about all the things them that is necessary to get us into the future and make us very challenging in the future, that we are not left behind. It is a really inspiring and open-eyed reading of a budget. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, Omalu, you are to come again, you hear, sir?
I will.
We are on most days. Just look out for the page, eh?
Okay.
Take care of yourself.
Same to you.
Don Spence?
Yes.
Take care of yourself. You hear, sir?
Yes, sir.
All the best to you, man.
Same to you.
Good. Bye-bye. And Winston?
that vote orange and not do them no justice. Chopper then don't have rule.
You have people who can afford it, who when them go down a KPH, them I use them L card and all of them something there. If you don't have something to cushion that, right? How you expect it to go manage when
it's right, yes or no? Because me
Well,
think
don't
she
stop
wrong.
her, man. Don't
Because
stop her.
the
It's a
PNP
go long,
can't
it's a go
claim
long.
nothing.